How you doing, good people? This is the 8-Bit Animal. And in 1984, Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street is released. A Nightmare on Elm Street is popular and spawns several sequels, and becomes a crossover phenomenon of sorts. Even though most parents would not let their kids go anywhere near the movie, it was really popular. So of course we got an NES game, and of course LJN got the rights to publish it. Now LJN learned their lesson from some of their past mistakes, and in the instance of this game, I think by and large they got it right. Let's have a chat though about it. Today we're gonna take a quick look at A Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, in this game, you play as just a random teenager. Also, the cool part about this one, you can play up to four different players. 4 players can play this game together. I actually think that's pretty awesome. But back to the main thing. You are tasked as this random teenager with collecting the bones of one Freddy Krueger across several levels and through several buildings around in the neighborhood around Elm Street. Cause that they never tell you the name of the town, so people just call everything Elm Street High, Elm Street this, Elm Street that. The whole town can't be called Elm Street, bruh. That don't make sense. It's always kind of goofy to me, but you know, it ain't my business. I didn't make money off this. But yeah, you go to several different levels, and you have to collect these bones, and you contend with different enemies and different pitfalls, because this is a platformer. And you also contend with fighting fatigue, because in this game there is a meter that will tick down to you eventually falling asleep and going into the dream world. Now, if you collect the proper icons, you can turn into one of 3 dream warriors. An acrobat, a wizard, and a ninja. Or I forget what the acrobat's actual title is in the manual. The ninja is a shadow warrior, and the wizard is a necromancer. And each one has actually really good abilities. The shadow warrior, the ninja, the ninja does a jump kick and throws shuriken. The wizard, the necromancer, fires magic bolts, and when he jumps, he flies a bit, he floats a bit. And the acrobat does a jumping somersault and throws javelin. All 3 characters are really good at what they do, and they're really useful. Though each one is differently useful in different scenarios, I will say that they're all better than the base character, thankfully. It's an improvement. But you also, when your little sleep timer runs out, or if your time runs out, before you collect all of the bones, a familiar tone starts playing. A video game rendition of the nursery rhyme from the movie. And when it gets to the end, without you collecting all of the bones and getting to the exit, Freddy shows up and Freddy attacks you. It's a simple fight, and you can get through it pretty easily. But yeah, Freddy will try to get at you. And like I said, it's not that hard to beat Freddy. but he pops up several times throughout the game. But it's not as randomized as the battles against Jason in Friday the 13th. This game feels a lot more balanced than Friday the 13th did, and actually a lot more manageable. Dealing with some of the jumps and some of that stuff is frustrating, but this works out a lot better. All in all, this is a pretty good video game, despite what random YouTubers will tell you. I don't care what they're talking about. I like this game. I like it a lot. Now, if you decide you want to get yourself a copy of A Nightmare on Elm Street, be prepared to pay, baby. Because for some wild reason, this game was popular. It sold a lot of units. But for some reason, it's still going for about $65 to $70 for loose carts. It ain't cheap. I don't get it, but it ain't cheap. And there is also an instance where a cottage industry of sorts for this game, where you can get a repro cart for about $23 to $25 is out there. I don't understand why a game that wasn't super hard to come by needs repro carts, but here we are. All in all, though, this is a really good game. I'm not about to tell nobody to spend that kind of money for it, but it's a good game. You should try it out. Actually, a really fun video game. But yeah, this has been the 8-Bit Animal, and I'll catch you beautiful people tomorrow. Tomorrow. You know, Capcom didn't do a lot of movie tie-ins, but this one right here laid the groundwork for what we know as the Resident Evil franchise.